Or if I'm just not feeling that well that day, I'll be like, I'm going to set a timer for 20 minutes and do 20 minutes worth of exercise.
Yeah.
Because really what I've noticed is like consistency is what matters and not necessarily
100%.
intensity, and sort of being realistic with yourself as we get older. And I'm like, yo, I'm not trying out for the Olympic team in anything. I don't need to. If a movement isn't feeling good, or if one of my shoulders is feeling a little tight or something, it's okay to take it easy on that. I don't have to push through it, because that's how you hurt yourself. And
it really is.
Yeah, and like I'm not getting ready to compete in anything. Like my sort of goal at this point is to develop a regimen that I can do for the rest of my life. Basically, it's going to keep me healthy. And then when my fitness goal is like when I'm 65 years old, I want to be able to carry a 50 or 60 pound box of books or something else up 2 flights of stairs without being super winded or injuring myself. Like, very simple.
Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Not jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. With Rudy Tyburczy.
What's up, you freaks? I'm not sure if you're a freak, actually. Maybe you're a freak. I do not know. Are you a freak? And if you are, I will happily talk to you about any of said freakiness. Whatever way you want to talk, I'm down. Or not. Whatever. It's all good. Anyways, you might be a freak or you might not. My name's Rudy. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. This is Jokes in the Gym, and I am excited for you to be here this week. I love every guest I've had so far. It's been so nice to talk to so many cool people. All of them have been in the comedy realm, I'm going to say. And it's been cool to get to know folks more and get to connect with other comedians that I might not get a chance to spend a lot of time with. So to be able to do that and share it for joyous purposes with the masses is a cool thing. I'm excited to be able to do that and try to kind of get better at this thing, because I actually do kind of like podcasting. I've realized that. I like having these conversations. I like talking about health and comedy with people that I appreciate and admire and enjoy. All that cool stuff. Like what a cool thing it is that I get to do. And a thing that I don't like is being behind on work and feeling like I need to catch up. I do not like that feeling. Do you like that feeling? Why do you like that feeling? Feeling hurried and behind? You like that? Really? I don't believe you. But I don't like it. And it's not fun. And so this week, I recorded this episode the day before I'm releasing it. And all the other ones have had a lot more time than that. And so this week it felt kind of rushed because I had very little time between recording and putting it out. I record on Monday, get it out on Tuesday. And that's super quick turnaround for me. And so I don't love that. But I do love booking in advance. So when I reach out to people, when I see what I can do, like when I'm proactive at like booking guests, it takes so much of the stress away. Like I feel a lot lighter because not only did I book my wonderful guest Jessie Hett today, but later this week I've also got 3 other conversations with awesome comedians I'm super excited to have. And so that also means that I have to worry less about getting guests for the pod. And because while I love this, it's also a labor of love. You know, it's a lot of work. It takes time, energy, effort, thought, and all of my not all of my resources. That's not true. It takes some of my resources to get this out there. And I have to like it, and I do. And so I'm really excited to be able to kind of like get ahead of the work, because that's something that makes my head feel lighter. Does that make yours feel lighter? Like when you get ahead of work, oh my gosh, it feels so good to me. Like when I have a month of episodes in the can, which I will after this week, or 3 weeks at least, that'll feel so good to me. And then I'll be able to book and reach out to people with a lot lighter of a load on my back. So it's like more friendly and forgiving, and that's what I want. And so I'm excited to have done some of that learning and knowing of how I kind of want to work on this podcast for the rest of the year, and hopefully for a long time, because I really do like doing this. But getting guests can be challenging, and then not only do you get the guests, but then you have to listen to it again and do the editing and like put in the intro, put in the music, find a good clip to open with, all that kind of stuff. And so it's a very multi-functioning kind of job that this is. So it's like everything I've done in comedy, it is kind of do it yourself, and that just entails a lot of work, a lot of time, and a lot of breadth of knowledge, and not necessarily depth of knowledge. And so that's actually one of the reasons I like the podcast, because I get to go deeper with these individuals. We get to fill our depths with one another. And it's been so much fun. And like today's guest is a perfect example. Hett is someone I've met at like 1 or 2 different festivals down in Eureka at the Savage Henry Comedy Festival. We met and we got along, and then we followed each other online, and we haven't had a lot of interactions other than online. You know what I mean? And so it's nice to just have a conversation and get to know somebody better. And we have a lot of similarities, and we go heavy into the cat talk. I'd say Act 2 was primarily cats in this episode. So if you want more cat talk, you're getting it. You're getting that kitty cat talk today. Do you want some more kitty cat talk? I bet you do. Well, today you're going to get it. And I'm thankful that you're taking kitty cat talk as seriously as I do. Because Jesse and I could totally make a podcast about cats. Because we could do a cat report. We could do a cat talk, cat and hoops. We both love, I know we also love basketball. He's a hilarious guy. Jesse is so fun. And I think our ADHD pops out in this episode because we're constantly interrupting each other. But it wasn't, it was just because we were excited to share our ideas. And there's a bit of a lag. There's a bit of a lag on the recording. So also that's us trying to figure out how to work with that. But I had so much fun with Jesse. We had such a blast chatting today, and I'm excited to get to share that with you all. It was a super lovely conversation. He's like a cool dude. He's like a down-to-earth bro who loves his cat, and like, yay, go America. Is that like, he's a guy you met at a trailer park. And I mean that in a good way, like, oh yeah, Jesse at the trailer park. I know him. And that's, I think, why I was drawn to Jesse initially, because we do have probably similar backgrounds. We didn't really get into the personal stuff, but he's just someone I felt a kinship with from early on. So it's fun to be able to chat and share that with y'all. And today, in honor of Cat Chats, I want to thank my non-existent sponsor, which is Cat Chats. Cat Chats. Have you ever wanted to chat with a cat, but you don't know how to chat with a cat? Well, Cat Chats can chat with a cat for you. So if you have a cat and you want to chat, call Cat Chats, and you can chat with a cat. Cat Chats. And now, that was good copy, right? I just freestyled that. All I said was chats and cats. I freestyled chats and cats, guys, and now that's in the earth. Now it's out there in the world, and we're all just as mediocre for it. So I want to thank you for taking some time out of your life to do anything at all. Anyways, sorry for getting absurd at the end of this intro, but I actually do want to thank you for doing things, right? You're doing stuff that you want to do, you're putting it out there, you're going in the world, and you're saying, hey, everybody, look at this thing. I like it. Here you go. And I think that's so cool. And that's kind of what I'm doing, because I'm a psycho, like all comedians are. But a good psycho, right? We're like good psychos, I think. Anyways, maybe I'll name an album Good Psycho someday. But until that day, you get to hear me chat with Jesse Hett, and we talk about things that he's going to do. He has plans for an album in the next year or so. He's got plans to be the mans. Plans to be the mans. I don't know if that's true, but he is hilarious. I'm super stoked that I get to share this conversation that I had with him today with you. So please enjoy my conversation with the one and not only Jesse Hett.
Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Not jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. With Rudy Tyburczy.
What is up, everybody? And by everybody, I mean the 14 people who might be listening to this today. I appreciate you stopping by. I'm super stoked that I get to connect with my guest today. He's a fellow comedian. We've met at comedy festivals primarily over the years, and we're both men of the iron and men of the cats. He is a man who has a show every Monday night at the Geary Tavern.
Oh, the Abbey Tavern on Geary.
At the Abbey Tavern on Geary. You can tell I've been to San Francisco so many times where he lives. The show is called Mirthquake. Put your hands together for Jesse Hett.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for having me, Rudy.
They're standing. They're doing it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Right. Good. Yeah. I mean, that's the vibe. We want people to feel good. You know what? You run a show. So, and so many people start with a combative kind of vibe in a show with the audience. Do you ever see that? And you're just like, what are you doing?
Yes, well, and our show is at this sort of neighborhood Irish bar that at first glance seems like it's maybe going to be kind of a rowdy crowd, but just because they are engaged, and we have a crowd of regulars who will sort of happily, but sometimes it'll be somebody turned around at the bar or just trying to order a beer, and then the comic on stage is like, this fucking motherfucker won't fucking shut up. It's like, they're just getting a beer. They want to go upstairs and play darts. Can you please just ignore them?
That's part of a bar. You're doing free comedy in a bar. Calm down, sir, or ma'am, or person. Yeah. Do you have much experience with Irish people? Have you been to Ireland, or are there Irish people who run the bar?
No, but our place is a genuine Irish bar. And actually this time of year, so there's I don't know, well, no, I'm allowed to talk about it. They're not going to do it. There's a big Irish football, a Gaelic football tournament that happens every summer. And so this is the time of year when all the lads from Ireland come over and work, and the teams are all sponsored by construction companies, and there's San Francisco, Philadelphia, New York, Chicago, any city that has a large Irish American population. The guys will sponsor these very good athletes to come over for the summer and work at their construction company or whatever company during the day, and then be on their sponsored team for this big football tournament. So yes, it is a very, very Irish bar. I was there yesterday just trying to watch a little basketball. And that's the day when all I forget what the kind of visa they are. It's an H1 or something. But when all the Irish, Irish guys in their early 20s come into the bar, and they're generally great guys, but they wear some styles of pants that I could never imagine. The European mind has developed a jean that is incredibly tight around the calf area. Yeah. And then exposes the ankle. And I can't imagine that's comfortable in any way. But they're all wearing a variation of those jeans.
Little knickers.
Sort of have a variation of the same haircut, too. It's very funny. But they're very cool, very nice, very good-natured. They don't, they get rowdy, but without causing any, actual trouble, They'll, climb on top of a table, but as soon as the bartender is like, hey, buddy, you got to get off the table. They're like, okay, I'm sorry, I'll get off the table. Not rowdy, but in a non-combative way.
I was just joshing.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. The Irish are a freaking blast.
Yeah. Yeah, they're the best, man. And it's a bar where the regulars are all sort of live in the US now, but are guys from Ireland. And they sometimes will stick around for the show, and they really enjoy. And sometimes we'll joke around with it if they're getting a little too rowdy before the show. We'll be like, "You have to leave before the show starts, okay? You gotta listen, Kieran. Your bedtime is at 8:15 tonight, okay? You can't stick around and make.
You gotta go work on the docks tomorrow or whatever."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love Ireland. One of my first bars when I lived abroad was an Irish bar, the Wolfhound in Seoul, and it's just you go to an Irish bar and you're gonna find as they say, a crack, right? You're going to find a good crack, right? It's going to be a good time. There's going to be food. There's going to be merriment. People are going to be having fun. And immediately you will get shit. Like from an Irish person, they are ready to hand it out as much as anybody. More than comedians, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. I walked in yesterday and I have longish hair. Oh, it's up right now. But I had my hair down. And one of the regulars immediately, as soon as I walk in the door, "Oh, how you doing, Fabio?" I was like, "All right, thanks, man."
Cool. We're thick as thieves already. What about you, Mr. friggin' Shooter McGavin, with your old school friggin' golf pants? Whatever, man. What have I heard? I've heard that the Irish are the only people that psychology doesn't work on. And that statement is so confusing that I believe it.
That's true.
Yeah.
It sounds so true. I've always got, I think Ireland, the US, Wales, Australia, Scotland, any of like the British sort of colonists, like the colonized white people tend to get along really well with. I've always got along very well with Australian people, got along well with Irish people. Very hit and miss with the British sometimes, but other times I don't care for them.
It's like, I get along well with colonizers. Who knew? Like, that's great.
And we always joke, but it's kind of true that the bar that we put on our show at, it's not a like cop style Irish bar. It's more of like an IRA style Irish bar. Like it's more towards the cool end of the legal spectrum.
It's the bar of the people.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I was in Ireland over St. Paddy's Day one year. What year was it? 2009, I think. And I was there during the Six Nations rugby tournament.
Oh, nice.
So, like, a lot of what you were talking about as far as, like, having people from all over the country and all over the globe come to San Fran for this tournament, that's how it is all summer long with the Six Nations tournament. It's the same kind of thing. And it's like, that year that I was there, Ireland swept it. They won every game, and they got the whole cup thing winning done. And some tiny little boxer won on the same day. And my friend that I was there with, he's like, "This is the greatest day in Irish sporting history." And I'm like, "Yay!" I totally don't care, but I'm glad. Yeah. Have you done much traveling yourself? Have you been around? Are you a guy who gets out and about?
Not really. I've been to England a couple times when I was young because my mom was married to a British guy. So we went to visit his family. It was fine, England's nice, I guess. It was like, wow, everything's pretty small here, huh? It's all right.
You're a real American, Jesse. I feel like that's that's got to be on your merch. Real American. And then just like a picture of you holding Mossy with your hair blowing in the wind on top of a mountain with the sun behind you. I feel like I want to see that.
Maybe I could do a calendar as my merch. Maybe that could work.
Have you forayed into merch?
No, I made I have some stickers that are a version of the Black Cat logo with my cat and my name. But then, dude, Kyle Kinane's new special has a very similar logo that's a version of the Black Cat thing. And I was like, oh, fuck, I hope people don't think that I'm ripping off Kinane, one of my favorite guys in the world.
Dude, yeah. Kyle is awesome, and he knows everybody is like rather, I don't know, similar to him in style in many ways. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just like we're all doing our thing, and it all overlaps somehow.
Yeah.
Kyle loves. Oh man, I felt for. How is this special? I haven't seen the Dirt Nap. It's
very good. It's very good. He's awesome.
Yeah, Kyle's so good. I'm always so happy.
Him becoming a cat guy was a nice turn too. I feel like cat guys, we're having a real like renaissance right now. Do you follow Stone Cold Steve Austin on social media?
He's my favorite part of Instagram.
Amazing, dude. Yeah, his new cat. He got a little orange cat named Macho now. Like, come on, man.
Oh, it's Macho. He's got a Poncho and Lefty. The cats are in the barn. Oh my gosh. I like Steve Austin reminds me of like a tough version of my dad. You know, like totally. he likes his routine. He has his cats. He does his things. Friday is for beer, and it's just like
he's gonna
so
have
nice
up
to see
8
Steve,
years, but not in a bad way.
Yeah,
Like
is that his guideline?
Yeah, he'll kill a 12-pack over the course of a day, but he ain't driving anywhere. Like, it's all right, dude. He's not being irresponsible about it. Oh,
He's
speaking
got
of
the
cat,
whole Broken Skull Ranch to himself. We got a visitor.
there you go. She's wandering around. When she hears commotion, she has to come see what's going on.
Yeah, sometimes I'll be like recording stuff on here, and my girl will like run up and start like nuzzling my face, kind of like in this worried way. She's like, "I don't know what those voices mean, Papa."
My cat, I just got a couple weeks ago, got a pet fish from an audience member at our Monday show, a regular.
I think I saw that. Is it alive?
One of them still is. The other one didn't make it. He gave me two that were both in pretty rough shape because it's a guy who's good, like a friend of the show, but I think does not live indoors. But he's at the bar hanging out on Mondays. And then a couple of Mondays ago, he was like, I'm getting ready to move. So I'm kind of trying to get rid of like a lot of my stuff. And he goes, I got some fish. Do you want these fish? It just has the two saddest looking beta fish in like a takeout, like a sauce takeout container. And I'm like, I mean, they're going to die if I don't take them. So, of course, yes. And one of them did die overnight. But then I went and got an aquarium. And then just last night, my cat, Mossy, discovered the fish. I've tried to like show her the fish. I put her like up to the fish tank, but it doesn't register to her. But last night, something about the motion in the dark, I think, got her. And she was she was like interested. She was like poking her little head up and she was putting her little paw on the glass. It was very cute.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I've recently started to get some little bush tits that come up to they're just cute little round birds that come up to the window, and my girl will be up there just like so excited. I love when they chitter, getting the chitter that out. I'm just like, oh my God, I feel like fucking David Attenborough. I'm so excited. It's a beautiful thing. It's funny too,
because that's them sort of expressing, that's the cat's expressing their desire to stalk and kill this animal. But to us, it's super cute. Like, we're not going to be able to, so
yeah.
It's cute.
I love how murderous animals are so adorable. It's a beautiful thing.
They really are. Everything they do, the little head shake when you give them a treat, that's them snapping the neck of the prey. But it's so fucking cute, dude.
They're murdering whiskeys or whatever. Friskies or whiskey. Whiskies is a different thing. I don't think cats have a lot of whiskeys.
There could be a cat toy or treat called whiskeys. That'd be all right. They have the ones that are like, it's a big joint shaped thing, but it's got catnip in it. There's room for like a booze version of that, I think.
Yeah, I think that makes sense for a cat. My cats eat tacos and shit like that, like fake ones for toys. But it's like, we'll do a pint. Now, are you a drinker? Are you a drinking man?
Yes, I've actually cut back significantly lately, but I go through phases where I'm really getting into it. Yeah. And then I'll be like, whoa, I feel bad all the time. I better. Or I'll get the opposite where, like doing comedy, we're out in places that serve alcohol and oftentimes getting free alcohol at those places. Sometimes that's part of our compensation. So for the first like several years of my comedy career, anytime it was like there's, you can have free drinks at the bar, I'm like, okay, I'm going to make sure that this is worth my while. I am going to drink $80 worth of booze tonight. And then, after a while, that's not a very good, healthy way to live. So I'll take breaks and then get back to it. And I will oftentimes get to a point where I realize that when I'm getting sort of like casual about drinking, I'll realize that I'll come home from a show or something and be like, man, I didn't really drink tonight. Really kind of paced myself. That's great. And then I'll think back and I'll be like, well, no, I had 7 years over the course of 4 hours, but I don't feel like it. And I'm like, okay, my tolerance is getting too high. It's time to dial it back, take a little break. And I'm currently in a taking a break phase.
Okay, nice. I love the phases feel good, right?
Well, yeah, because I do love drinking booze, and specifically, sometimes it's fun to be like, all right, today, like not like I'm not gonna like get blackout drunk or something, but I'm like, yo, it's Sunday. I'm gonna fucking watch 3 basketball games in a row. I'm gonna drink a bunch of beers. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
But in order to, you gotta keep yourself in check. If you do enjoy drinking booze, it's like I always kind of likened it to like, the people that have like those like wolf dog hybrids as a pet, where you're like, it's cool to
Oh
have,
yeah.
but you do got to keep an eye on it. Like you don't let
Yeah.
it just run around and do whatever it wants.
Yeah, which is the one you feed?
Yes, exactly.
Have you heard that? It's like
Yes.
there's two wolves inside of you.
Yeah.
Which is the one you feed? And I
Yeah.
kind of like that idea. It's like, I've been thinking about this lately with cats, especially too, because one of the things I loved, and I felt so lucky about being able to see my cats' entire life cycles. Right?
Yeah.
The cat who gave birth to them lived here, gave birth to them at the foot of my bed. So,
Yeah.
and now two of them like live here for good.
Oh,
You know what
dude,
I mean?
that rules.
It's amazing. It's such a cool thing. I talk about it on stage. I was like their cat doula.
Yeah.
And and so but one of the things that I love most about that is that you'll see a cat go from sweet and loving and tender to vicious and ferocious and protective like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's so cool to see that like naturally in an animal.
Yeah.
And I feel like we kind of have that as well in humans. It's like, okay, I'm like a caring, loving human being, but also I want to fucking get after it. I want to be in places where I can let my intensity show. And that's a lot of time it's the gym or it's on stage or it's or whatever. But I think for me, and I don't know if you found this to be the case, it's hard to find places where that's appropriate and acceptable, to like switch from one to the next, and
totally.
balancing different sides of yourself. Now that's kind of a vague and question, but how do you attempt to kind of find balance or balance the different sides of yourself?
Well, I do think, I think it's important to sort of allow yourself to be like, keep the animal metaphors going, but to get off leash a little bit and fucking act weird. And like, that's part of why I enjoy doing, cutting loose and having a bunch of beers every once in a while.
Totally.
Why I like having, I do all of my, like fitness and exercise stuff. I have a little home gym set up in my backyard because I like having a place where I can cuss and spit and make weird faces and just like generally act insane. Things that I would feel self-conscious doing or it would be inconsiderate to do in like a public gym, Like you can't spit on the ground.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to. It's not sanitary. It's inconsiderate.
I just spit on these weight plates. You can't use them, you dicks.
Exactly, And like, I don't want to walk back. I want to pace around muttering to myself when there's, people that are on their way to like a Pilates class or something. Like, I feel weird about that.
That's why I have like 3 places to work out. I work out in my backyard. I work out at the place I work at the Y, which is like people going to Pilates class and stuff. Like I'm a part of that community. But then there's another gym I go to when I just want to get totally drenched, put my big headphones on, and deadlift 300 pounds or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, it's nice to have a variety of places to do it. So what is your main one your gym now and in your backyard, or do you have other places too?
Yeah, so I only have right now, San Francisco is kind of a tough city for that. Cause I've looked around, I would love to have a space where I could do like barbell, platform squat rack type activities. But every place here, at least in the research that I've done, places that have good equipment are either like a CrossFit place that's super expensive monthly, or a specific like Olympic weightlifting gym where they don't really have like, it's like a members and they don't really have open gym hours. So I haven't found a place that like is what I'm looking for. So I just have like, I got a pull-up bar, dip stands, rings, a bunch of plates, a bunch of Olympic plates, a plate loaded vest, a dipping belt, a couple of adjustable dumbbells, and I pretty much make do. Oh, and a couple plyo boxes, and I make do with all that stuff. But I am sort of actively looking for a cool gym in the San Francisco Bay Area. That's also close by and convenient.
Dude, finding the right gym is hard. Like it's not an easy thing, and so I'm glad that the Y feels like a really nice fit for me now. It's very cool to be able to go to work and then work out afterwards. You know what I mean? Like it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that made me like really dedicate to getting my own, wanting to get my own home gym like workout equipment was during COVID when everywhere was closed. I would do like just body like calisthenics workouts in the driveway. And one day, as I was doing, I think I was just doing like some burpees or something. Our neighbor had a Rottweiler that was a very sweet dog, but had that, what they call like the barrier sensitivity, where like if you're in the same yard as her, she's a sweet little teddy bear, but as soon as there's like a barrier between you, she starts barking and like, is reactive to that. So she came out to use the bathroom to like pee or so while I was doing my like my prison yard exercise, and she just starts barking and jumping up on the fence, and I was like, "It's like I'm in a DMX video right now."
Yeah.
This is
somebody jumps over one of the hills on a 4-wheeler.
yeah.
So what are your workouts like? Like how do you structure them?
Well, let's see. I found a nice kind of groove lately that I'll do, where I'll do one day on, one day off, and the day off I'll do like kind of recovery stuff, so there's still like active stuff, but I'll structure the day on workouts. I'll do upper body, a pulling exercise, and then maybe 2 or 3 accessories, so like a weighted pull up, or as many max pull ups if I'm doing volume, and then a couple of pulling like rows or something exercise, and then a couple lower body exercises also that are either like a squatting type movement or a deadlifting style movement. And then I just started trying to get to the point, I started doing Nordic curls every workout, that hamstring.
Ooh, yeah.
Because my knees are starting to get a little creaky as I age, and I'm like, that's probably and I've never done much specific hamstring stuff, so I'm like, I maybe need to strengthen those up. So basically every other day is like a full body workout that's upper body, either push or pull, and then a lower body something with a couple accessories thrown in. And then sometimes I'll just do the thing where you set a timer for 20 minutes and then it beeps every minute, and you do a few pull-ups and or like a little circuit. If I don't have time, or if I'm just not feeling that well that day, I'll be like, I'm going to set a timer for 20 minutes and do 20 minutes worth of exercise. Because really what I've noticed is like consistency is what matters, and not necessarily
100%
intensity, and sort of being realistic with yourself as we get older. And I'm like, I'm not trying out for the Olympic team in anything. I don't need to, if a movement isn't feeling good, or if one of my shoulders is feeling a little tight or something, it's okay to take it easy on that. I don't have to push through it, because that's how you hurt yourself. And
it really is.
Yeah, and like I'm not getting ready to compete in anything. Like my sort of goal at this point is to develop a regimen that I can do for the rest of my life. Basically, it's going to keep me healthy. And then when my fitness goal is like when I'm 65 years old, I want to be able to carry a 50 or 60 pound box of books or something else up 2 flights of stairs without being super winded or injuring myself. Like, very simple.
You live in San Fran. You're going to be moving around. You got to carry those boxes the rest of your life,
man. Exactly.
Dude.
I live on a big ass hill, so I can go walk up the hill if I want to. And that's what I'll do on my days off, is like just go for like I live right next to a beautiful park where I can go take a nice long little hike, or I'll just do getting into grip work lately, because that's something that apparently you can keep building strength well into your 50s and 60s, because it's all slow twitch muscle, I guess.
And
so
that's why old men have such vigorous handshakes.
Yeah, exactly, because it can keep getting stronger as you get older. Whereas like it's like your vertical jump isn't, when you're 50 years old, you're not going to be able to have a better vertical than you did when you're 25. That's just how bodies work. But you could have a stronger grip than you did when you were 25.
Yeah, and grip strength is one of the best indicators of longevity and health and overall health. So it's like that's one of those ones that I like try to do. One thing that I would bring out to like open mics and stuff, because I get a little anxious, I get a little nervous and stuff like that. So I got these little like circular rubber squeezy things just to have in my pocket, so I can do like 10 of these on one side, 10 of them on the other, and it's just like inconspicuous. It's right, you're hanging out with your buds, everybody's smoking cigarettes, and you're doing grip work.
It is. And you're right. I have the same. I think I might have the exact same kit where I got the little round ones, and then I also got the rubber bands that have sort of finger holes in them, so you can do these ones. And
I have the opposite of brass knuckles.
Yeah, very soft.
Yeah,
and I have those pretty much with me almost all the time. or in my car, at least. And you're right. It is like a healthy way to fidget.
Totally.
Because I did smoke cigarettes for a while too. And
Same.
sort of I would do that kind of like dumb, which I guess it isn't dumb. It's better than nothing. But where I'd be like, all right, I'm going to be healthy overall so that I can have a couple little vices, it's like, and it sort of puts you in a weird, you might have this experience too, where you're in a sort of a weird no man's land where like, compared to like fitness people, I have a semi unhealthy lifestyle. Like my diet is not great. I take more than one cheat day a week where I just kind of eat whatever I want. I'll have dessert if I want to. And, if I can smoke weed if I want to, and maybe have 7 beers every now and then. So compared to like fitness people, I'm, living a semi unhealthy lifestyle. But compared to comedy people, holy shit, I'm fucking
you're Michael Phelps, dude.
Yeah. The fact that I try to eat vegetables every day, it puts you in like the upper echelon of comedian health.
Every day? Every day.
Yeah. At least once a day, dude.
At least. Oh my gosh. Yeah. This guy, you say you're not training for the Olympics. I don't buy it.
Yeah.
But there is that thing. It's like, I'm working on this. I'm having this bit right now. It's like, for the longest time, health was my dirty little secret in comedy. It's like, oh no, I gotta turn my phone to the side. Seth will see I'm looking at alternative protein sources. And it's just like, and so it's like, no, fuck that. Like, no, it's like, I can like what I like, just like everyone else likes what they like. No, nobody in comedy is making fun of, everybody makes fun of everyone for everything, right? Yeah. Anything we like in earnest is made fun of by our closest friends. I feel like that's a big part of comedy.
Yeah, totally.
But it's like, there's this weird, because comedy is some kind of like anti-establishment or whatever. It's like anything that is like something that was cool in high school is automatically shit on by comedians. Yes. So like sports, working out, having a schedule, being on time, like these things are not considered cool by comedians. And in my head, I have to have those or I go crazy.
Yeah, totally. Or being like, okay, the show is over. It's 11:45. It's Tuesday night. I'm going to go home so that I can go to sleep. So, hey, whatever, pussy. Like, oh, wait.
Yes, fucking dork. Like, no, I'm a sleepy boy.
Yeah, and a lot of that is not helped by the fact that they're like the fitness sort of influencer and fitness community is oftentimes kind of loud and lame, and like the aforementioned CrossFit, which I think is a very cool way to exercise and great, but like when they get into all the like rah like military, like this is what the Navy SEALs do type of stuff, it's like, who cares, man? Like,
I'm not a Navy SEAL.
Navy SEAls.
I don't need that. Okay, yeah. I just had a bee in here. That's why I'm a little.
Oh,
that was a bee, so I'm gonna shut the window. So no more bees come in.
Sweet.
Sometimes I'll walk into my cottage. I live in the backyard, and the other day I walked in and there was a wasp and a hornet in my house. Whoa. And I'm like, okay, well, now it's time to get the electrocuted fly swatter out.
Hell yes, dude. Those are the best.
Dude, I love them.
We've been having raccoons around lately.
Did you one time have a raccoon in your house?
So the bedroom that I'm in right now, this house was sort of a comedian house for a long time. I think I'm the only comic that lives here currently, but the bedroom that I'm in right now, our friend and another great comic, Dro Ochoa, was formerly in this bedroom, and it has a door. It has a window that opens out onto the patio, which we kind of use as a door, and it gets hot. It's an east facing window. I think east facing, the one that gets hot in the morning. So during the summer, he would always sleep with his window open. And one night he woke up to an entire, like a family of raccoons just in his bedroom, kind of looking around. Like it was a mom with like 3 babies, and he freaked out.
Holy cow.
Understandably.
Were they aggressive or what happened?
No, they were just kind of like, they're scavengers, so they just kind of look around. And we, in San Francisco, it's like we live next to a big park, so there's plenty of habitat for them. There's plenty of food that they get out of people's, garbage and stuff. So the raccoons that we have around here are very docile and very chill. Even though we have coyotes here too that are like pretty chill and don't really, they just kind of like will look at you and then kind of walk away. And so I think they were just kind of seeing like,
you got a bit of an animal kingdom.
Yeah. Like we were talking about earlier, like watching the little cat flip from being this little, very shy, little sweet animal to like, like raising up and fucking challenging an animal that's 3 times her size. Like, what are you doing?
Dude.
You don't need to
Not a
defend
great
the porch.
move, bud.
Yeah.
She's like, it's all I have. It's all I have.
It is her turn. Yeah. She doesn't like other animals coming around the porch. Which I guess I get it.
This girl behind me, she's the only one who really lives in the cottage. And so when other cats jump in, sometimes I'll leave the catio open and another cat will be here in the morning. And I'll like wake up to her hissing at them and shit like that. What's your Mossy origin story? How did Mossy and you come to be?
So that was another like quarantine thing. It's very cute. It was, so this was during, 2020. When would that have been? It was September, I think, of 2020. There were wildfires in kind of everywhere. You probably experienced that a little bit up in Oregon too. But in the Bay, like the sky, there were a couple of days where like the sky was orange and the air quality was like, you do not go outside. And it was right at the height of kitten season. And I lived next to another park at the time that had a cat colony in it. And apparently because the air quality was so bad, a lot of the mom cats stopped producing milk and had to kind of like sort of forcibly wean their kittens early. So if you would go to that park, there were tiny kittens all over the place, very skittish. And I was at the time thinking about maybe getting a cat, but I was like, I don't know if it would be good at the place that I'm living. And, I was like, maybe this isn't I was kind of like considering it. And then one day, I also, added wrinkle, I had, couple months earlier, I broke my jaw in a bicycle accident. And so I had my jaw wired shut. And I was 5 days from I had my jaw wired shut for like 6 weeks, which was a nice.
So you just had to have a straw the whole time?
Yep. Like I was on a full liquid diet for 6 weeks. Man. And it was kind of a nice way to, like sort of reframe my relationship with food also.
I bet.
And really like look at like nutritional value and what tastes good to me and is also nutritious, because the first couple of weeks of being on a liquid diet, I was doing all like smoothies and stuff. And I thought I kind of had it all figured out, but I was tired all the time. I was always in a bad mood. I wasn't sleeping well. And it turns out I just wasn't getting enough calories. So one of my friends who he'd had a bunch of like, oral surgery also, and had been on a liquid diet, like gave me some pointers and was basically like, put heavy cream in everything. Like you think you're getting enough food because it's filling up your stomach, but you're not getting enough calories because it's a lot of that is just liquid, like water weight. So like go crazy, get weird with the
fat
smoothies
in there, lots of peanut butter, all the stuff as much as
and
you
like
can.
foods that you like the taste of, go ahead and blend them. Like I would make like sort of like taco smoothies basically, where I would take like chorizo, avocado, black beans, and like vegetable stock and just blend it all up, and some salsa and some peppers, and blend it all up until it was like a drinkable consistency. I would do that with like meat and potatoes. Like started making exactly, make like a thin soup and then just drink a ton of it. So my jaw was wired shut. The air was crazy bad. And the only place where the air was kind of breathable and you could be outdoors was on the coast, because, you're by the water and there's enough, exchange of air that it's like you could still kind of hang out there. So I was going, 2 of my friends and other comics were going to go have a beach day where they were going to do acid. I was just going to go hang out with them, because I don't think I would have been able to handle doing hallucinogens with my jaw wired shut. I think I might have freaked out, or it would have been unpleasant. So I was like, I'll just come hang out.
Sounds like a Saw movie.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I'll come hang out with you guys. I'll be your your guide. Yeah, I'll go if we need to go get refreshments. I'll be the one that talks to the guy at the convenience store, so you guys don't have to worry about it. I'll just help you out and hang out for the afternoon with my jaw wired shut at the beach. And I forgot my lawn chair, so I was heading out. I had to turn around to get my lawn chair, and when I got back to my house, my roommate at the time was out on the porch, like in front of our front door, kind of leaning over and looking behind this cooler, like this big Coleman cooler we had on the porch. And I was like, what happened? And she goes, I think a squirrel or something just ran behind this cooler. And so I was like, well, let me take a look. And I looked, and it's this tiny, like little gray kitten. And I'm like, oh, wow, it's a fucking kitten. Let me see if I can get her out of there. So I went and grabbed I had a can of wet food. that I would just keep, because I keep cat food around all the time, because we had strays in the neighborhood, and I would feed them and stuff. And so I went and got a little spoonful of food. And as soon as I scooched the cooler away from the wall to get the spoon in there, this cat bolted through my legs into our front door, through the house to my bedroom. My bedroom was all the way at the back of the house, into my bedroom at the back of the house and underneath my bed. Like that, like as fast, you know how fast they are. And I'm like, oh, well, shit. So it took her a good 3 days for me to get her to come. She was just she hid under the bed. Didn't want to come out, was like terrified of people. I finally got her. She came out of the bed, got into my closet. And after 3 or 4 days, I was able to get close enough to her to like pet her and stuff. And it was still at the time thinking like, well, I probably like we're not supposed to have pets, you know, in our lease and stuff. So maybe I'll just like keep this one. And I called around. I'm friends with like a bunch of people in like the cat rescue community. Cause this was my first cat ever. The old Bones, this old 11-year-old 3-legged cat that I got. And so I knew like guys who were like, you know, cat rescue and TNR people. And so I was like calling around and at the time, like because of COVID, like the shelters were minimally staffed and the vet's offices too. And all the shelters I called were like, yeah, we're overwhelmed with kittens right now. So if it's possible for you to just like foster this one, then maybe you should. And I was like, all right, I'll keep her. So I finally made her a vet appointment, and they were like, well, we can't, she's too small to spay. So you're just going to have to keep her indoors until she puts some weight on and gets a little bit bigger. And it turns out she was a little bit older than I thought. She was like the runt of her litter. And they were like, you know, because she was like out in the wild kind of on her own for a long time, she may never be very friendly. And, you know, she might just have to be a cat that you maybe keep indoors, but aren't really allowed to pet or anything. And she, because she had lived on her own for a long time and was like not very people friendly. And still, she does not like other people. She's not like hostile, but if someone is over and talking in another room, she tries to just not be around that. Like she's going to come be in her spot, which feels nice being the only person that she'll like and tolerate. Although our friend Chad Opitz also won her over eventually.
Oh, nice. But Chad could win any creature over, I feel like.
Absolutely. He has impeccable vibes. So I have this little kitten, and I'm thinking stupidly, I'm like, all right, well, temporarily I'll just keep her until I can get her spayed and then take her to maybe you know, a rescue or give her to one of my friends who wants a cat. But of course, you know, then I get attached to her, and by the time she's big enough to get spayed, I'm fully attached. And I try to tell, and I was worried about our landlord not letting me keep a pet, so I immediately got her certified as an emotional service animal. So I was like, sucker, you can't fucking tell me what to do. And then got into a weird, massive blow up with one of the two people that I was living with about her not wanting to have a cat and me wanting to have a cat. And then in the middle of this huge argument we're having, a spot opens up at this place where I live now, where I'm very happy. And so I was like, guess what? I'll just wash my hands of this situation entirely. So in a weird way, this cat, she got me, she like crashed into my life and then got me into a much better living situation. It's like a classic, like who rescued who scenario.
Yeah, you guys need a buddy comedy, I think. I see your photos all the time and I'm like, I want to see more Mossy and Jessie.
Yeah, dude, and she's so sweet. Like, she's so weird. I mean, they all, you know, they're all funny in their own way, but she is like the perfect little cat. Like, very polite. Like, has never like she'll barf up a hairball every once in a while because she has long hair. Which I didn't know. I never would have gotten a long-haired cat on purpose, I don't think. But when I got her, you know, as a kitten, you can't tell. And then the first 3 years of her life, her hair just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And I'm like, well, guess I got a long-haired cat now.
She has an epic coat.
She does. It's beautiful. And I'm going to have to learn how to do a sanitary trim now. I actually just ordered some clippers to shave her ass with because every once in a while she'll get a turd stuck in her ass hair and then she gets all embarrassed about it.
Poor thing. Yeah, I know. Yeah. My cats, I feel honored when my cats let me clean their anuses. You know what I mean? You know, I'm like, this is a sensitive part of your body, my friend. And we're both in it. We're both doing this weird thing together. I know I'm a giant who's fingering your butt right now, but it's out of love.
No, they just think of us as gigantic cats. who are
Yeah.
terrible at doing cat stuff.
Yeah. I just come home from work and I put my head on a cat. I feel
Yeah.
like that's what I do now. And I'm like, oh, this is so nice. I just like this so much. It's such a calming experience. You see her, she heard that. She knows that voice. Uh, she is again kind of like Mossy, cuddly only to me. She doesn't really
Yeah.
want to hang out with other people
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. But I also think that's part of pandemic cats. You know what I'm
Yep.
like?
Very true.
They're just weird little antisocial, awkward guys.
And
Eh,
I worried about her being like lonely and maybe wanting, because cats are social animals and they do live in groups generally. And I
mm-hmm.
was thinking about maybe getting her a little friend, but then seeing the way she reacts to the neighborhood stray cats when she sees them, it's like she's not interested in hanging out. She wants them to get the fuck away from her territory. So I'm like, maybe that's just her. Like that's her little personality. Like
Yeah.
she's a solo animal.
That's cool. I like that. I'm down. I like to what we do as humans when we give cats a home is we allow their actual personalities to come out. You know,
Hmm.
because when they're out in the wild, they have to fend for themselves the whole time. They can't be like a friendly, cool cat. They're just like a fucking survivor.
Yeah, yeah.
But when we feed them on the clock twice a day, they're like cool and friendly and do backflips and have interests.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so cute. And they fucking roll over, show their belly, make weird noises.
Yeah, Jesse, I feel like we could have a weekly cat podcast. The cat
Absolutely, dude.
cast,
Yeah.
the feline friendly cat cast, the hairy men unite with cats.
Responsible cat dads.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
I'm
you let yours have outdoor time.
yeah. I live
Which
in a yard.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I have a backyard now where she
Mm.
can go out and roam around. I think it's really improved her life. And I know that's like a hotly debated thing in the cat community. But I think some
Mhm.
supervised outdoor time is really great for him. And I tried to get her to the point where I tried to get her to wear a vest and a leash so that I could take her to the
Uh-huh.
park because she loves my cat. She loves digging. Like that's her favorite. Because
Okay.
I think maybe because when she was feral still, she was so small that the only stuff she could eat were probably bugs. So she was probably
Mm.
out there digging up worms because no way she would have been, a mouse would have been half her size. So there's no way she was taking down something like that. So I
No
think
way.
she's
Yeah.
like and she loves getting out and eating a bug every once in a while. And if there's a fly or anything indoors, like forget about it.
Oh yeah, it's a blast.
I've
This
seen her
girl.
I've seen her jump and take a fly out of the air and
Yeah.
then munch it. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
That's
You weird
amazing and
little,
gross.
yeah, you weird little monster.
You're a psycho. Yeah, this girl will sometimes wake me up like trying to dig underneath like my shoulder or in my armpit, and I'm like, this is gross. And
Yeah.
you're about to like slice my armpits open. So whatever. I mean, it's like it's kind of my relationship with cats is kind of like my relationship with comedy, in
Mhm.
that I love it so much. They're such a huge part of my life, and if they weren't there, life would be a lot easier. It would
Yeah,
be
very
so
true.
much simpler. Like I'd have so much more money and time
Mhm.
and things to be able to do. But like comedy and cats can be overwhelming, and it's like they're always like in the top 3 things I'm thinking about.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that's always what I want, but it's what's there.
Yeah, and it feels a little unhealthy sometimes.
Yeah.
It's detrimental to your sleep schedule.
Exactly. I'm like, yeah, it's bad for my health and my sleep. I probably get sick from it.
Yep.
I'm always talking to other people who don't give a shit about it.
It makes you sound insane when you talk about it to others.
I've used so much money that I haven't gotten back and never will. it's but again, it's just like those are my favorite things, you know?
Yeah.
It's like we fucking love what we love. And so because
Yeah, part of it's because they are so weird and unpredictable.
Mhm.
And like having a
Yeah.
cat in your house is great because 40% of the time you'll like look slightly to your left and you'll see this little creature doing the funniest, weirdest, or grossest thing you've ever seen. Like multiple
I
times a
love
day.
it. Yeah. I'm like, you're just a furry little bud I have. And we get a cuddle and I feed you stuff, and then that makes it feel like you love me.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm sure if they could feed us, they would. My cat will she'll bring me her toys sometimes. We have a fig tree in the backyard, and the figs kind of look, they're like they almost look like her little toy mouse. And she'll bring figs inside and just kind of like drop them in front of me and be like, hey, look at this.
Fig and
Look what I
egg.
did. Like, wow, thank you. That's
Cool. Yeah, she brought in a mouse or a rat in the house one time, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is a different experience." I heard something squeaking, and I'm like, "What? That you sound weird, Frostner."
Yeah,
and it's because it was a rodent.
No, I worry about that. When I started letting Mossy outside, I was a little concerned that she would bring in like a rat around us. But we don't really have the critters that we have around here are all birds or raccoons. So it's stuff that she either can't catch because they can just fly away, or things that are too big for her to even try to catch.
Totally, yeah. But you know what? She'll bring something in here, and I take that as a great compliment. Thank you, cats, for your love and your murderous instincts.
Yeah.
How much does Mossy and or cats make it into your act?
Actually,
yeah,
I do a version of our origin story, and I talk about how I've never bought an animal before. I've exclusively had like found pets or adopted pets. And I'm trying to kind of work out a piece right now about Mossy raising up on that raccoon in the backyard. And now that's a purely like cat thing, because if I knew that there was like an 8-foot tall, 600-pound guy who just kind of was wandering around the neighborhood, and every once in a while he'll come into my backyard at night, it's like I'm gonna be very nice to that guy, or I'm just gonna steer clear. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
As soon as I see that guy in the yard running out and being like, "Fuck you, man, fuck you," but that's what she did to the raccoon.
Yeah, it's like twice her size.
Yeah, and I do a decent amount of cat related stuff actually.
Yeah, I'm always talking about cats. Sometimes my friends will make a joke. It's like, "Oh wow, you didn't talk about cats once that set," and I'm a little proud when that happens. But also in shows and stuff, I'm trying to. I don't know if trying, but I have started to lead with cat material a little more, just because it's like, no, I fucking love cats. Always have, always will.
Yeah.
Part of me. Here's part of who I am. So I'm setting the stage also for the people in the room. It's like, no, I'm a cat guy.
Yes.
If you don't like cat guy vibes, fucking deal with it. Sorry, that's what we're getting. You know what I mean? It just is nice to feel out the room. And there's so much hacky cat and dog material, and I dip my toes into that too. Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with being a hack.
Sure, it's fun,
yeah, as long as you're having fun.
Yeah, and it's in service of also helping the audience have a good time. Throw in a little hacky tag here and there. Sprinkle them in. Right. Who cares?
Hack isn't bad because it's stealing. It's bad because it's not original. But who gives a fuck?
Yeah, totally. And if it's a tiny bit of your overall shit, then who cares, And you can kind of do it tongue-in-cheek sometimes a little bit and be like, hey, I know what I'm doing. And you know what I'm doing. I'm going to do it real quick and it'll be over.
And I'm a big laugher on stage. I'm just trying to have fun. I don't even do it intentionally necessarily, but I'm laughing at the joke because, first of all, I think it's funny. And then I like seeing what people do with this stuff. It's like we get to experience it together, and I get to experience how you see my jokes, my creation.
Yes. And one of the best feelings, too, for me, at least in comedy, is when someone comes up after a set or after a show and is complimentary in like a specific way, where they're like, I really like this one thing that you did because I feel that way also. And I've never heard someone else express that in this format, which I find happens kind of a lot if you do a lot of cat material. Like cat people will come up to you. And sometimes cat people are very cat-like in their behavior, where it's somebody who you saw seeming like they were hating the show, and then they come up to you
Yeah.
afterwards and they're like, "But I did like you." Like, "Aw, thank you, weird cat
Thanks.
person. That's great."
Yeah.
Oh, the flip side, one of the worst feelings is when someone who kind of sucks comes up after you to you after the show and is like, "You were my favorite. You were so great. Let me buy you a shot." And you're like, that means I'm gonna have to do a shot with you. So I don't. I actually gotta go, man. Nothing.
Yeah.
But thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. But I gotta get the fuck out of here. Tap out T-shirt, man. See you.
Yeah, I went to see Sam Talent here in town the other day, and there was some interesting characters in the audience that I saw interacting with him afterwards. And Sam and I were talking, and he was like, we were talking about one guy, and he's like, yeah, that guy like came in really close, and he like kissed my neck almost. And I was like, yeah, he was getting like, he was in your nape. He was like getting your scent on him.
Yeah. And people do, and it can be nice where people sort of think of the comic as not their property, but they're like, I am a fan of yours, and like I'm supporting what you do. And then sometimes after a show, there's an element of like, so you owe me, like you have to hang out with me now. And it's like, I don't like that. And you don't necessarily get to choose your fan base. Like you don't get to choose who your stuff resonates with. And sometimes it can be weird. Or like people will come up and be like, if you do kind of self-deprecating stuff on stage, people will come up and be like, yeah, you fucking loser. Like, oh man, well that was
I'm
say
Jesse.
That about myself. Yeah. I say that about myself sometimes, but I don't like you saying that about me.
Yeah. It's kind of like that Dave Chappelle idea why he quit Chappelle's show. He's like, because I didn't like how people were laughing. He's like, totally. It's like, I heard a guy laugh in a way, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of out. And it's like, oh yeah, you don't get that choice. You don't get to say how people are going to take it. And so I have started to add questions into my process, like how do I want the audience to feel? So what am I trying to convey, and how do I want it to land, and do my best to navigate the ship in that direction? Does it always work? Of course not.
Yeah.
But I'm trying.
Yeah. I think that's good too. And that's maybe something that people, and maybe it's like an age and experience and wisdom thing, but like you hear like a lot of newer comics being like, you got to be able to fucking kill in any room in front of any audience. It's like, I don't think that's realistic. Yeah. And if you're doing things that are that universal, then they're necessarily also not that original. Like, you know what I mean? If you're doing things that the entire audience everywhere is always like, yes, I relate to that, then it's fundamentally unoriginal. So
totally.
If you're doing something that is like truly original, some people won't recognize it and won't respond to it because that's just the nature of it. If it's something that they've never heard before, there's a chance they'll be like, I either don't understand this or I don't like this. That's just going to happen sometimes.
Yeah, and when you're taking risks on stage, when you're doing things that make you laugh, that not everyone's gonna laugh, and that's totally fine. And I'm okay with that. I'm not trying to make anyone not have fun. I want everyone to have fun, but I do kind of think if everyone's laughing, you're doing something a little wrong, little wrong, you know, because it's lowest common denominator probably means it may not be yours.
Yes,
and
totally.
That's the key to finding your voice, is staying true to what you think is funny. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm enjoying where I'm at in the process right now. I'm having a good time with comedy. How are you feeling about it these days?
Good. I'm also feeling pretty good about it. I've been working on building more time and have an hour that I'm happy with that I think is almost ready to record. And then I've been getting some other opportunities where I need to pare down that time, and I'm getting back to doing 5 and 6 minute sets, which feels very, very unnatural, but it's been a good process to try to learn that again too.
Totally.
And I love running our little Monday show because it's a place where me and two of my best friends can just fuck around a little bit on stage, and we do like weird themes every week, and we'll tandem host every week, and we'll have like recurring characters, or one of us goes in the bathroom, puts on a fake mustache, and comes out as our own
Oh, I
twin
love
brother.
it.
And we just do like fun, weird shit like that, which I think
Yeah.
has really helped us get a following of regulars, because they know that every show is going to be different. And
Yeah.
it's not just going to, there was sort of, I don't know if this is true everywhere. It might be more prominent in San Francisco because it's such a tech city. There was a point, and still it's still ongoing, but where every show is people setting up their camera to try and get a viral clip. So it's sort of everybody doing a version of the same 6 premises to try to get something that's going to have the broadest mass appeal. And I think audiences were getting a little bit tired of that, and people are happy to have fun, weird and there are more sort of fun, weird shows popping up. But it felt like there was like a year or two there where everybody was trying to get that viral clip about how weird dating is, or you know, and I think audiences were kind of picking up on that and maybe getting a little burnt out.
Yeah, I think I've taken an online tilt recently because I'm in Eugene, and the market in Eugene is not huge, right? And so it's like, I want to continue to grow and create some kind of fan base. And so I record everything. I just record anything that I do, because you never know when a good 5-minute clip is going to pop up, or a good 30-second interaction is going to pop up. And it's just fun to have that. And I'm not like making everything super manicured. It's just like, no, this is what comedy is like where I'm doing it. And and it's fun to be able to share that every now and again.
Yes, absolutely.
Is it going to help most of it? No, not at all. But I've got something in case it does.
Yeah, and it will help you, or it can help you reach like reaching a broader audience will help you find the people that specifically do like what you do, you know? And I think if you approach it like that, there's like, I think a couple of different ways to approach building like an internet presence. And one is to like do stuff that you like, that you think is funny, and let that find an audience. And not all the clips are going to do well. Some of them are going to get, sometimes there's a joke that you really fucking like and you know is really good, and it gets 32 likes. And you're like, or you know, and you're like, god damn it, dude. Jeez, but that's the algorithm. You're at the mercy of the algorithm at that point. And the other approach, which is the one that I don't like, which is where you're like, I am going to tailor my comedy to this, to try to find, I'm going to do a joke about this particular current event premise in the broadest way possible, to try to get these likes and engagement and stuff. And it's like, oh, that grosses me out. It's not, I'm not saying, maybe that's me being, it is definitely me being Mr. Precious Artist about it. But I don't like that approach for myself, or when I see others doing it, especially comics that I know are very funny. And I'm like, oh, you're kind of like debasing yourself in a way that's different than how we usually debase ourselves.
You got to be a friggin' artist like me. You got to do it this way.
Yes.
No, it's
I'm the one doing it the right way. Me.
Yeah. And it's like, but there is that sense of, it does make it kind of icky. You're like, ugh.
It does.
That doesn't feel good. Or even, you know, when you do it, when you dip into an old joke or a premise or a perspective that you're like, oh, I was in a groove and I was seeking out the laughs. The heat-seeking laugh missiles are not always the ones that are the truest to what you want to be doing. Or maybe it's stuff that you don't even do anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how did I get into that voice? And sometimes it's just because maybe it's an improv type show, or you're in a riff and it's something old pops up. But it's just kind of hard to walk the line.
Yes. And you know what, for me, one of the worst feelings is when you see, it's like maybe the comic before you's not doing that well or something, or the audience is you sort of anticipating them being a little bit rough. And so you're like, I'm going to go back into these old bits that I don't really do anymore, that don't wreck, so that I can get them on board. And then it still doesn't work. You're like,
yeah, I sold my soul for nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. I could have just done whatever I wanted and had fun on stage, even if the audience wasn't.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I chose not to.
I was a coward, and now nobody likes me, and I'll never be funny again. Well,
well, at least I have my cats. I can go.
Yeah. And I also start with cats so I can like call back to them throughout the whole show.
Yes,
It's just
absolutely.
a fun callback, and you can talk about going home to your cats and that kind of stuff because it's fun, and it's like that's where my head is at. It's like, no,
Totally.
I don't want to have 7 beers tonight because I need several cuddles.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And my cat gets so mad when I get home later than I'm supposed to. She's like at the door screaming at me.
Yeah, no, I get it. So sometimes they are outside, and I'll have cats like waiting at the gate because I go through a gate, and there'll be like cats behind bars, and I'm like, you are the cutest little inmate. I love this. So let's see. You're talking about recording something like an hour sometime soon. Do you have any of those machinations in progress? Do you know when and where you might be doing that?
Not yet. No. So I was supposed to record right before COVID shut down. I had a venue set up to record that was like this very cool. It was primarily a music recording space that had like a 40-seat performance area that was all mic'd up. So we were going to do this very cool, very intimate thing. And now that I've told you about that, that place is no longer around. Didn't make it through COVID. But the people that were going to distribute it was a smaller music label. Who are still interested in doing, they've never done a comedy album before, but they're still interested in doing it.
Nice.
But we have not yet found like a venue or any of the details yet. But
Yeah.
hopefully in the next 8 months or so, we'll have something concrete.
Nice. Yeah. It's like, I feel you've been in the game, I don't know, 10 to 20 years. Somewhere in there is what I'm guessing.
I think 13-ish, counting the one COVID year where I didn't really perform at all. But yeah, overall, since 2010 or 2010, late 2010, early 2011, I think.
Yeah. And I feel like that's a good time to record something, to kind of like move into the next zone of your comedy career,
Yes. And it's nice to just have something to be like, because people ask, they're like, hey, where can I find, like after a show, they'll be like, hey, where can I find more of your comedy? I'll be like, well, there's a fucking couple clips on my Instagram from like a year ago. It would be great to have something and be able to be like, go here and listen to this.
Exactly. And that's how I feel about mine. It's like it didn't blast any charts or anything, but I'm around 9,000 views. It came out about a year ago. I'm like, hell yeah. It's like I have something that I can tell any host, say, oh yeah, just mention my special on YouTube. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
totally.
it's like, it's there, it's in the can, it's done. I am a comedian. That is it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it feels good.
Where'd you record yours?
I recorded it here in town at one of our home bars, Lucky's. Lucky's in Eugene. So Lucky's is where there's a Tuesday open mic, Amuse Days, run by our good friend Chaz, Logan Hyde. And it's like, I love Lucky's. It's an old bar. It's like a cigar club. It's got this iconic fluorescent sign in the back. And so like 90 people came, a bunch of friends and family. Kyle Kinane came just to hang out and watch. Like tons of friends were friends from all over the world that I knew in Korea and stuff like that came to see it. And so it was just so nice to like be like, hey everyone, this is on my 13th comedy anniversary. I'm recording a special. It's at my home bar in my hometown. My mom's gonna be there, blah blah blah. Like, and so it's nice to have that recorded. There's the receipts for it all. And it wasn't as great as I wanted it to be. And I was doing 12 jobs instead of 2, which would be ideal, writer, performer someday. But it's so much nicer to have done it than to have not. It's like I can say that I am that was the thing that made me be able to say with my chest out a little bit, no, I'm a comedian. It's like, oh, that's cool. So good for you. And I'm excited to see what comes of it, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm in that phase of sort of grappling with the fact that it's not going to be perfect and like accepting that. Because nothing 100%. Nothing ever is.
No, not at all. So you've been in the game for a while. You're moving forward. You're excited to be recording in the next year or so. And I like to kind of start to wind down with a question about like how you've grown and what advice you would give your younger comedy self, or what do you wish you had focused on more throughout this process?
Oh, I think I definitely wish I would have gotten out and toured and traveled a little bit more, because I pretty much stuck to the Bay Area and the West Coast. And it's great, but it would be nice to have more fans in other cities, and be able to put together more tour dates where I'm not going to lose money, where I'm maybe going to break even, you know?
Yeah.
I think I would have
That's
said,
a
like,
huge
it's not
task.
Yeah, and like, it's not scary to go other places to do comedy. If you're funny here, you will be funny there. You know, don't fucking. It's not like all my humor is like regionally specific about different bus lines and stuff. Like, it's it goes fine in other places. Yeah, I think I would have said, like, get out a little more, and don't focus so much early on about like trying to be like sort of careerist about it, because I was really like, you got to have a clean 5 and then you got to have a clean 20, and so I was like sort of doing material that I wasn't like enthused about. And I think I would have said it's okay to like not be clean, and to not do the things that the comedy books tell you to. You know, the comedy book written in 1987 tells you about career advice. Like, you don't have
Judy
to
Carter. You don't have to follow everything Judy Carter's. I love the comedy Bible. I'm not shitting on the comedy Bible.
Totally.
I like both of them, but because you're writing, right? Yes, writing is good.
And it's okay to do stuff that you think is funny, that maybe only works with half the audience 80% of the time. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to get everybody all the time, every set.
That's like a 30% yield, Jesse. I'm not good at math, but that's what it. Do you have any like people or voices or specific advice that you've received that kind of rings out in your ears regularly, or you try to keep in mind when you're performing or doing shit?
I think it's not as much a specific thing, but I get the weird anxiety before almost every set, where I'm like, is this going to be the one where it's horrible and I completely forget how to do comedy? And I just try to keep in mind that I've been lucky enough to work with a lot of comics that I really, really respect, both as comedians and as people. And every time I've worked with somebody who I'm like, I've never met him before, and I'm a little bit nervous about it, I'm excited to work with this person, they're always like, hey, you're funny, you're good at this. And I'm like, just remember that the people whose opinions really matter to me agree that I'm good at this, and that it's okay for me to do this.
100%. It does. Those little pats on the back along the way are huge. You know what? I feel like that's really important. I feel like if you have even one person that you know is on your side, that can be enough to get you through a tough spot. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm doing everything for this one fan or this one comic or my friend over here or my whoever. But when you're feeling like shit, remember that compliment someone gave you that was like, you know, I think of that joke to this day. Or like that set you did that night when we were here, that was the hardest I've ever laughed. Or whatever the case may be, those kinds of little just supportive comments are really important, and I think we're so quick to poo-poo those and like brush them aside, and I'm trying hard not to do that and not to cling on to them too hard either.
Yes, and I also, the flip side for me of that is always also remember to like express to other people when they've done something. It's like, it's because it's like a almost not in a selfish way, but it is like a good feeling when you're like, oh, dude, I was just thinking about that one bit you did that one time. And then somebody's like, that's the only time I've ever told that story on stage. And you get to be like, so glad I was there to see it. And if you you should work on that maybe.
And sometimes that'll like spark a new 5 minutes. You know, if someone was like, that was a fun set, or you give somebody that idea, they're like, oh yeah, I can really build on that. Like, it's so fun. And it's like, when you're at a point where with a friend or whatever, where you can be like, oh, that set was so funny, that's such a great joke, I thought of a tag. When you can share tags with the friend, I feel like then you're like, oh, this is what comedy is about.
Totally. And when you can see when somebody has a rough set and you know that you have a good enough relationship with them, that you can be like, man, you really ate shit there. This fucking audience sucks. Like, it's their fault, not yours.
No, it's fun to have years in the game and be able to kind of just be a part of it with other people, because that is the fun of it. It's like, we're not doing comedy we're up there on our own, but it's only fun if a group of people are experiencing it with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Typically.
totally.
So, yeah, dude. Oh, Jesse, it's so nice to chat and connect and like hear about working out, cats and curls and comedy with you, dude. You rock.
Yeah, Rudy. Yeah.
I have always appreciated your vibe and your presence.
Thanks, man.
We've met a few times, but I see you online, and it's a blast to kind of feel this, hairy kinship with you.
Yeah, that is mutual, Rudy.
Right on, Jesse. Well, if somebody wants to see, we got Mirthquake every Monday. Mm-hmm. Where do they follow you on the onlines?
Pretty much all my stuff so my Instagram is at Jesse the Hett, like Jabba the Hutt. I have a cousin whose name is exactly the same as mine. We have the same first, middle, and last name. And Beautiful. He got to all the social media stuff first. So I'm Jesse the Hett. It used to be when you would search my name, the first thing that would come up was his DUI mugshot. But I think I've surpassed. Shout out to New Mexico, Jesse Hett. Yeah. Very cool guy, actually. Musician, cool guy. But mine is Jesse the Hett. So on Twitter.
Your Instagram. DUI is up there now.
Yeah, my DUI is my DUI is the number one. Narrowly avoided a few, but never got one.
Right on. So Jesse the Hett, Jabba the Hutt, Monday nights, Mirthquake, Cat on the lap. We got all sorts of good stuff. Jesse, anything you want to say to the people before we take off?
Well, just thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting Rudy's awesome podcast. It kicks ass.
I second that. Thank you so much for supporting. Thanks for stopping by. Hang out for a second after I push stop.
Yeah, for sure.
And we'll see you next time on Jokes in the Gym. Later, y'all.
Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Not jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. With Rudy Tyburczy.
X gonna give it to you.